Okay, good morning, friends, or afternoon or evening, whenever you find yourself watching. My name is Kaila, and this is Ground RX Yoga. Our ground classes at Perennial employ a large variety of tactics for grounding, relaxation, centering, rest. There often is simple, steady, fluid movement, but not necessarily full-blown sun salutes or challenging standing series like you might find in a flow class. Many of us utilize pranayama, breath work. Others employ different forms of meditation. And generally, there are plenty of yin-like or restorative postures. So if you're looking for something easygoing, something that will help you to soften at the beginning or the end of a challenging day, this is your class. If you are looking to center yourself and get back into your body, this would be an excellent practice for you. So with that being said, you might have a couple of yoga blocks nearby if you have them. If not, no big deal. You might have a strap, yoga strap, or a scarf or a belt close by, something that will help you to add a little length to the arms for some shoulder opening that we'll do today. And if you'd like, you could put on some music, light a candle, light some incense, something to set the mood. So take the next few minutes to gather your things and set your space, and then we'll begin. All right, friends, so I'll actually have you begin standing. You can be anywhere on your mat. I'll face you, but if you prefer to be at the top of your mat, that's fine too. If you don't have a mat, that's okay. And I want you to begin by standing with your feet just outside of hips width distance. So I would put my hips width right here. And I'll have you heel toe one footprint outside of that. So you've got a really stable working base today. Gosh, I have to say that I've really gone through the spectrum regarding teaching at home. At the beginning, I really disliked it. Later on, I've learned to love it, but it feels really, really good to be back in our space today. So if you're missing the space, if you're missing Perennial in the flesh, please know that you're not alone. And we are working hard on options to get everyone back in here in a way that is safe, in a way that will protect everyone as best we can going forward. So if you haven't already started swaying with me, start that. That's why I've given you this wide base, so that it feels like it's easy to swing into one leg, put weight into one leg, and then sort of float through the center and put weight into the other leg. Do whatever you like with your arms. And take some steady breaths as you swing side to side. My aim for you here is to feel and express the energetic pulse that likes to move its way up from the earth underneath you, through the leg bones, through the mobility and freedom built into your knees, built into your hips, up through the whole of your pelvis, and then the spine, the shoulders, the head, the neck. They are willing to follow along real easy. If your movement gets to be a little bit bigger or changes in nature, please trust the instinct and just run with it, right? So a little bounce might give way to a more fluid sway. That sway might give way to a pause here and there. I really like to stick a heel into the ground and flex toes up. So that you are becoming conscious of your connection to the earth, the many surfaces at the bottom of the foot, the edges of the heel, the pads of the toes. Let's take hands to hips and do just a few more side to side. We've got hands on hips because I want you to start to descend, similar to the way we would for a forward fold. So maybe you come down just halfway, almost like a halfway lift, which might mean a bend in the knees. In fact, bend your knees and get some weight back into your heels. Nice deep breath in. I want you to feel like you're sustaining, you're rocking, you're bouncing, you're swaying, but you're starting to give your upper body away to a standing forward fold, okay? As you come down, you may need to tighten up your movement, make it a little bit smaller, a softer expression of what you were doing before. And eventually, fingertips to the ground or fingertips to blocks. If you don't have props and the floor feels far away, a sofa cushion, stack of pillows off your couch, they will work well too. If you haven't yet reached the bottom, take a moment to get there. And allow for that swaying to fall away. Maybe there is just a tiny rock left over. Knees are quite bent. Hands rest down, and at long last, you drop your head. And allow for your hands, wherever they are, to have a similar experience to what's going on in your feet. The energetic quality of the earth now feeding into both your hands and both your feet. 2 breaths. Pause in the middle, take a high halfway lift. Hands to your knees even, or your thighs. however high you want to go. I like a high halfway lift these days. If you want to do something more traditional or classic, feel free. Take a moment to lengthen your legs here, almost like you want to flirt with standing up the rest of the way. But instead, you exhale, bend the knees forward, fold. Again, second pass, a high halfway lift. Inhale. Steady forward fold, exhale. Now, a small pulse in the knees, more up and down than side to side. Like you're greasing the back of the knee joint with a little movement here. I want you to keep that going while you start to roll up to stand. Let your arms and your head be heavy and come up. And this might turn into a little bit of a shake. Allow the exhale. And when you get to the top, firm up the legs, circle the arms overhead, big breath in. Palms together at the heart. And then inhale to reach up. Forward fold on the exhale. Watch how the spine stays long and straight as you come down, as opposed to rounding too much in the back. Bend the knees as much as you need to, surrender. Find that little bit of shake in the knees, up and down bounce in the knees, and use that to shake out any gripping or tension, stress, fear, hesitation in the body as you stand up. And at the top, there's a firming of the legs, like you are sure of yourself. The arms overhead on the inhale, and then palms together. We'll do that twice more. Inhale to reach up. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, let's slide that in. And fold on the exhale. Take your shape, your bounce, and let the bounce shake the exhale out of an open mouth. Firm the legs and reach up, inhale. Palms together. One more, reach up, inhale. Forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold. Bit of a shake. Come on up. Firm the legs, arms up, inhale. Palms together, exhale. Take a moment right here, standing. If you haven't already, move your feet in just a little bit closer, if not touching. Palms together at the heart, close your eyes, standing. A steady stillness. Feel the back of the skull, the base of the skull rise just a little bit so that your chin draws in ever so slightly. The back of the neck feels long and your shoulders have the opportunity to drape out to the left and the right. Take a moment to lean into the feedback of all the swaying, all the rocking, all the standing so far. Next inhale, drop the hands and then take them overhead, stretching up into whatever energy you'd like to feel for today. Realize that you're free to make a choice even when things are tough, and then seal that intention in as you draw palms together, thumbs back to the sternum. In stillness, take a deep breath in and exhale. Eyes open, step to the top of your mat and leave your left foot there. Right foot swings back behind you for a warrior one stance, which means you'll turn your back heel to the floor and angle those right toes out about 45 degrees, give or take. Interlace your fingers into a basket weave and press those palms out to the front of your mat, reaching well beyond the line of the left knee, which, by the way, is stacked over the ankle rather than jutting forward. So just the hands up front. And then inhale to swim those wrists up high. Feel how the arms join the long line of the back leg and allow yourself a little side to side sway here. On the exhale, split the hands to the left and the right, come all the way down to the floor, two sets of fingers. Turn the back heel up, drop the right knee down to the ground. You can pad it with a blanket if need be. On the exhale, pull back onto the left heel, lengthening any amount through the left leg. You'll see that my weight is mostly in my right knee here. On the inhale, drop forward again. Two hands inside your left foot, heel to that left foot across the floor, off the mat for sure, all the way out to the side until it's free to slide along your floorboards or slide along your carpet, back to the floor behind you. Tap the toes, find two hands, and press momentarily left heel to the back of the room for some semblance of a calf stretch. Go ahead and slide the right foot back to join the left. A quickie plank, moving to downward facing dog. Feet are about hips width distance. There's a little movement here. We often pedal the heels in class, but I wonder if today it's actually more of a lift of the foot. So that you're dropping body weight, full body weight, into the right foot, and then the left. Just twice, right foot, and left. And then plant both feet and walk your hands back to your toes. So it's an easy transition to your standing forward fold. If you want to bounce or sway a little, pay homage to the beginning of class, do that. And then find your way into a halfway lift. Inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale to stand all the way up. Palms together, exhale. Stop here, breathe in. Breathe up. Again, inhale. Exhale. Eyes to the front of the mat. Take a walk forward and see if you can roll every step from heel to toe, which is a new and different way of acknowledging the soles of the feet. Right foot stays here this time, left leg swings back for that warrior one stance. I'm taking up quite a lot of the mat, 2/3 at least. If you're tall, it may be the full length of the mat. Hips facing mostly forward in warrior one, as best you can. Right shin perpendicular to the ground, knee stacked over heel, which is different than knee protruding forward, right? We want to stay away from this look and remain closer to this one. Find your basket weave, two hands press out, they swim to the front of the mat, you reach, and then go up to the ceiling, side bend a little bit. Right, feel how the arm bones are an extension of your waistline. Left and right. When you exhale, sweep the hands down to the ground. You'll lose the back heel in favor of the back knee. Hold on to the heel of the right foot and lengthening right leg any amount. It does not need to be all the way. Bow forward, take a breath. Return to the lunge. Watch this. Returning to the lunge from half split often could do with a little slide from the front heel so that your lunge feels manageable when you get there. This is a small bit of logistics that will make your life easier when you are low to the ground. So watch my right heel goes from its half split spot back by 3 or 4 inches. And that way I have a place to put my foot when I return. 2 hands inside the right leg, and then heel toe, off to the side, all the way around to the back of the mat. Passing any props, set your toes down in a tuck, 2 hands, press into the right calf this time. Let the left leg join the right leg and go almost immediately to down dog. Walk your feet. Lift your feet. And then this time you might walk your feet to your hands. You could also walk your hands back to your feet like we did on the first round, either side. A lot of the time I'll do a little of each so that you end up really in the middle of the mat for your standing forward fold. Catch the elbows on this one so your forearms are crisscrossed. Drop your head into the space between your arm bones and find your sway, that old friend, the sway. Come back to the center, release the grip. Take a high halfway lift, inhale. Big open heart and halfway lift. Forward fold on the exhale. A shake if you'd like one. Rise to stand at your leisure. Arms overhead, biggest breath of your day so far. Palms together, exhale. When you travel to the front of the mat, be sure to feel your feet, don't throw it away. And when you get there, take your heels out to the left and the right. Right on the edges of the mat, you may find that your toes turn off a little bit. Arms up on the inhale, big skyward stretch. Forward fold on the exhale down to that wide space between your toes. Bend your knees a lot. A partial squat, or for some of us, perhaps a full malasana, in which the seat drops all the way back toward the Achilles tendon, the heels. Lift a little bit, fingertips on the ground. Take the left leg way back. Drop your knee down to the floor. Kind of like what we did before. Now your right foot's a little bit off to the side. That's okay. Leave it there. Pull back into your half split onto the heel of the right foot. Inhale to return forward. And bring that right foot between your thumbs, the heel toe back to the center of the mat. Now that you're here, 2 hands to your right thigh. Come on up and find a little something through that left thigh and left hip flexor. If you want to raise the arms, you could. Inhale up here. Exhale. 2 hands to the floor, lift the back knee, get off that kneecap for me. Turn all 10 toes to the left, finding that your feet are parallel toward the long side of your mat. You might bring them in a little bit toward each other if things feel far apart. Bend the knees quite a lot and find your sway side to side, which now comes much more from the knee than it did before. Almost a lateral lunge. Side to side, If you would feel better with something beneath your hands, please find that. And recognize that the spine can be as high or as low as we'd like it to be. I really like to sway side to side in more of a halfway lift orientation, right, which looks like this. Others might get more out of a full forward fold. So do your thing for another 2 breaths. And then come back to the center. Take a high halfway lift. My favorite phrase, high halfway lift. Hands to your hips, stand up the rest of the way. Go slow. If you're dizzy at the top, tuck your chin. Take a second. With your wide feet intact, I'll have you turn right big toe to the front of your mat and see to it that right heel aligns to some degree with left arch. Hands on your hips, specifically the left hand right on the outer aspect of your hip flexor, your hip crease, right, this groin crease. Put your left hand right there and feel how that hip can turn forward. Sometimes I call this sassy shoulder, popping forward. We want to get away from that. We want to roll shoulder and hip, in this case the left side, backward in space. For me, toward the moon, toward Ganesh. Soften in the knees if you tend to lock your legs. And with that left hip pulled back, slide your right hand down your right leg, really light touch. You can go all the way down, part way down, or hardly at all. You choose. This left hand can stay on the hip and continue to act as a reference for that external rotation, the upward, outward roll, or it could reach for a step. Good. Level your head. You can look up or down. Stick through the heels and feel a lot of air moving into the left side body here. Big inhale. Big exhale. Think of a strong pelvic floor, strong abdominals as you stand up. Inhale. Hands to your hips, turn your feet to match. Sometimes a little relief in the feet is necessary. So heel toe the feet toward each other and sway a little bit, right? So now we've come back full circle to the beginning of class. Okay? So like feel into that. And if you've lost track of that fluidity, those good vibes, the receptivity to the earth, this is your chance to get back into them. Sort of like a carefree Tadasana. Carefree Tadasana. Maybe it's different than it was before. Hands to your hips, take it to the forward fold. So if you remember, your sway sort of feeds into the surrender of the spine. Hands to something down on the ground, blocks or bolsters or the floor. Sway side to side. Let this one be bigger. Sway all the way to one side and reach your fingers that way as far as they will go. And then come to the center and do the same thing on the other side. Come back to the middle. Rise to stand as you see fit, with or without the shake that we have employed a few times. Arms up. Inhale, maybe a little sway right there. Palms together at the heart, exhale, and then a thoughtful walk back to the top of the mat. When you get there, feet to the left and the right, wide in preparation for your squat. On the inhale, arms up. On the exhale, forward fold.
Halfway lift if you like it. Squat to your depth. I like halfway down, Malasana, is fair game. Tuck your chin. Fingers on the earth, swing your right leg back this time, kneecap to the floor with 2 hands inside your left thigh. Pull back onto the heel of the left foot for a cattywampus half split. Inhale to lunge forward again, and heel toe left foot between the thumbs, gathering up your leg again. Take a moment to land here. Did we twist? We should twist. Left arm up in the air, inhale. No, we took hands to thigh, but twist with me. Left arm up in the air. We'll get the other side before we come down. And then come to the mat, and now 2 hands to your left thigh. If you would like to raise the arms, you can. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's do this. Hands to the floor. Slide your left foot back. A casual drag through the toes. Maybe a brief child's pose while we're back here. Knees wide, big toes together. Sit to the heels. At first with tented hands. And that old friend this way. Eventually, palms down and forehead down for stillness. A few breaths. Next inhale, come to hands and knees, rising up. Shins in a little bit, I bet, and then right foot swings forward. First so that we can twist on the other side. So left hand on the ear, right arm up in the air. Inhale. Exhale back to the floor, lift the left knee and pivot to your wide-legged stance a second time. You should be pointing at the same side of the mat that you did for the first round. Soften knees forward, fold on the exhale. This time catch your legs, your calves, your ankles, or your feet. And draw down. On the inhale, hands to the hips, rise on up, standing all of the way. Take a beat to the top and turn left big toe to the back of the mat. Look for heel to arch alignment on this side. Straight legs but soft in the knees for my friends who hyperextend. And then remember, it's this back hip that we want to roll skyward. So with your hand on your hip, give me sassy shoulder forward, like fashion model shoulder. That's not what we want. So this is one end of the spectrum, and I'd love for you to go to the other end. As you peel that right shoulder and elbow back, there's a feeling that the groin line of your right hip is willing to follow some degree. Right? So keep that action. Soften the knees again, and reach your way down the left leg into triangle pose. Trikonasana, Utthita Trikonasana. If you begin to feel that your sassy fashion model shoulder is coming into play, you've probably gone too far down your left leg. Realize that going really close to the ground, for many of us, will collapse the shoulders. So what I would rather you do is take your hand much higher on the leg so that that right side body has a fair shot at rolling back in space.
Right arm, if you haven't already, stacked on top of the left. Level your head, look up or down. Nicely done. Strong pelvic floor, strong abdominals, a feeling of power, both physical and metaphysical in the center for standing up nice and tall. Turn the left big toe to match the right big toe. Put your hands on your belly in interest of the center. And with your legs straight, give your hips one last bit of sway, which is small. Notice the difference between the left and the right. Just be aware of that. My right hip is pretty free and loves to drop into it, whereas my left hip is less so. I have to be much nicer on that side. So if that sounds like you, be kind from one joint to the next. Maybe there's some small circles here, right? So before I was doing more of a side to side, up and down, right? Now make it kind of like a circle. So pelvis comes forward to the right, tailbone back, and then the left. A couple of those. Now my fluid movement comes purely from the pelvis and less from the knees. Now change direction, other way. Just to see what's going on here. I think that we often think of hip opening exclusively as big, deep poses like half pigeon or lizard, or even our warriors, but recognize that subtlety can be really powerful. What does it mean to stand and sway for your hips or knees or low back? What does it mean to be right here in this wide-footed stance and play with the relatively small surface area of the innermost hip socket? You know? What if it didn't have to be so big all of the time? Kind of like hula hooping, really. Okay, food for thought. Heel toe the feet toward each other. And find a new stance, maybe closer than what you've done before, possibly feet touching. Take the arms overhead, inhale, stretch up. Forward fold on the exhale. Halfway lift on the inhale. Hands down for a plank. If you have to reorganize yourself, that's fine. Lower all the way to the ground, knees, chest, and chin. Point the toes, small cobra, stretching thigh bones back in order to raise your heart. Exhale, release, child's pose, touching toes, pressing up, rolling back in a way that feels nice for you. All right, friends. Rise to hands and knees. Take a few rounds of cat and cow, just a little spinal movement to feel into what you've managed to do so far today. To enjoy what you have managed to do so far today.
Next inhale, come to neutral. Make your way into a seat. If you would like to sit on a bit of a folded blanket or something that affords the pelvis a little height, please do. Stretch your legs out to the left and the right, kind of wide. If you have blocks, you might want them close by. If you don't have blocks, maybe a chair, right? A chair can work really well here because you could slide it forward and back, just like you could these guys. So feet as wide as your inner thighs will allow. Realize that we've been here a couple of times before, right? On the feet rather than seated. Pull your glute flesh out of the way so you have a chance at feeling your sitting bones on the floor. Soften up through the knees a little bit, if not a lot. In fact, if you're really tight in the hamstrings, the groin, the inner thigh, you might benefit from blocks, or my favorite at home is rolled towels beneath the knees. We're gonna have a decent hold here in this seated, wide-legged forward fold. So if you have props you want to go get, go fetch them. Come back to the setup. So we get a little yin time here. Take a full inhale to sit tall once the legs are arranged. And then a big exhale to hinge forward. When you get to the stopping point, when your inner thighs or the length of your legs halt you, respect that stopping point. And allow yourself, before you go any further with the upper body, to sit there for a moment. I like to move my toes so I know that there is not an excess of tension in the feet. You can flex, certainly, without there being an excess of tension. So find that middle ground. If you're on the tight side of things, this is where a chair can be really beneficial because the seat of the chair or the pan of the chair would be at perfect height for resting forearms or forehead. So if that appeals to you, do that. Others might begin to round into the fold if you haven't already. After a certain degree of hip hinge, it is appropriate for the spine to give way into rounding. As long as that's not the first action to get into the fold, that's okay. Find somewhere to rest. I use the word rest really intentionally because we would like for your posture in a yin experience to be deep and productive, possibly challenging, but never stressful. Never rooted in strain. So find that place. And spend 3 minutes here. You don't have to count. I've got God. But something like 3 minutes. Now, within the static nature of this posture, could you call upon the muscle memory of all of your rocking and swaying and pulsing? If you need to mimic that with a subtle sway in your torso or some decisive movement in your breath, please do. Think of that muscle memory, that energetic memory, as a resource for moving through resistance. Feel the earth rising to hold you, no matter what. Breathe well. Take 2 breaths. For the finish. On the inhale, release, rising slowly, carefully. Gather up the backs of the legs. Use a bit of a backward lean to bring those feet in to a place where there's some relief. Legs back on the mat. Allow yourself a slouch. See how that feels? And inhale to sit nice and tall. Now, you might sit on blocks, a blanket. For this next portion, before we lie down on the ground for final postures and rest, I'd love to give a little attention to the neck and shoulders, just because we've been very hip-centric so far. So find your scarf, your belt, and find a seat that feels nice for you. You could kneel like so in Virasana. You could sit cross-legged. Find something that feels sustainable. And then take your strap between your hands. I'd say about 2.5 to 3 feet between the thumbs. Something like that. So that you can raise the arms up in the air. Do that a couple of times. See that when I get to the top, I bend the elbows ever so slightly, almost like I'm trying to pull the left end to the left and the right end to the right simultaneously. The strap might shift behind your head when you do that, it might not. And then you come down, do a couple of those, chin lowers. Once you have the idea, drop your eyes. So that we start to move through whatever range of the shoulder is available to you without using your neck really at all. A couple of those, keep it simple. If your shoulders start to fatigue from the pulling action, take a moment, take a rest. And then start again when you're ready. The next time the strap is directly above your head or just behind, bend deeply into the left elbow and send the base of the right wrist high so that there's an upward pull in the right hand, an upward press in the right hand, downward pull in the left. And then swing that right hand across your field of view and move it into the other side, which is going to mean raising the left wrist and resisting with the right. Go up to the center, inhale. And then right back into it. Right hand down. Roll through the center. Maybe soft strap there, lax strap, until you get to the lift of the right hand. Then it goes taut again. Watch how my forearms can create a sawing action. Any shape is permissible as long as it feels nice. Roll through the center. Find the left side. Roll through the center. Find the right side. A couple of times. Maybe at some point it becomes a full circle, but this backward aspect would depend greatly on the health of your shoulders. So if you have a known shoulder impingement, some sort of catch that would interfere with the backward moment, you can continue to roll front to left, front to right. Some of us may go full circles. Trust your intuition. Remember, chin down, eyes down once you have the idea. 2 more movements, whatever they are. And then back to the center. 1 time up for the finish. Bend the elbows, draw that strap back any amount. And then release. Drop the strap or the scarf away from you. Open. Hands to your left, drop your chin to your chest, all by itself. Roll your head to the right. Through the middle. And off to the left. Let your torso sway as much or as little as is right for you. All right, friends, come off your seat. Props to the left and the right, blocks to the left and the right. Now, if you have socks, sweaters, extra layers you'd like to put on in preparation for rest, we're not going there just yet, but now would be a good moment to dress yourself, as we'll be on the floor for the rest of the time, and I would love for you to have the opportunity to stay down once you're down. So do that, and when it's time, we're gonna lie belly down to begin. So belly down to begin. For 6 pose. There's a small back bend, continuing a little neck, shoulder, thoracic spine work before we return to our backs or go to our backs and return to the hips. So elbows beneath the shoulders, give or take, palms out front, either pinky edge of the hands on the earth or full palm, depending on what feels best for your shoulders. Classically, palms down. But anatomically, it would make sense to do pinkies down instead. So you decide. And whatever it is, press down through the forearms, press down through the elbows so that there isn't any shoulder shrug. Legs reach long behind you. Classically, feet together, so you could do that. Or hips with distance, or go wide, right? If you're tight in the hips or the low spine, wide might feel nice. Now, let's shrug the shoulders so that we know where we don't want to be. Allow for your chest to collapse into the tower of the arms. Drop your chin. In fact, right here might be a nice hiding place, so take a breath or two. Lengthen through the legs, some integrity in the belly, and then press back up out of the tower of the arms. Eyes will naturally move forward, so press through the forearms and give them just a smidgen of backward drag. Do the same thing again on the exhale. The whole thing collapses like you're melting in the sun. Drop your chin, crown down through the floor. Firm up through the thigh bones, the shin bones, the feet. Press down through the forearms and reconstruct the chest. Reinflate the chest and let your head, your eyes, your nose be the last thing to arrive. One more time, slouch. Shrug. Drop your head. Like the whole thing falls apart except for the upper arm bones. Firm up the legs, strong belly, proud heart. Final lift or Sphinx pose. Some of us might widen the hands here, lift the elbows, press up for added altitude. Optional. Inhale up here. When you exhale, surrender back down to the floor. Stack your hands so your forehead has a place to rest. Once your forehead is down, bend the knees and switch the feet. Come back to the center. Shift your whole body one way or the other. A little alligator slide to the side. Extend one arm overhead and roll onto your back. Alligator roll so that you end up on the mat flat on your back, which should feel really nice after all of that. In fact, bend the knees and swish your legs side to side. More swaying, more rocking. Now, this next portion can be done with or without props. If you have blocks, take one or two of them underneath your seat. If you have cushions, sofa cushions or pillows, you can do the same. If you don't have anything at all, this will still work. Whether there is a platform or not, draw your legs up and toward your chest. Allow yourself a few circles here. Hands to the kneecaps so that the thighs can swim away from each other in a circular motion like butterfly wings, if you will. All right, keep your left leg, extend the right leg out, either hovering off the ground like so, or some of us might take heel to the floor. If you're on the floor, it will be glutes giving way to a straight leg. And then switch, right leg draws up and in. Hold that knee and shoot the left thigh out along the floor, maybe to the floor for some of us. And then switch. Left knee in, right leg out. Right knee in, left leg out. One more time, left knee in, right leg out. Sometimes I like to swing that leg, the long leg, side to side, which would be in keeping with our theme for the day. And then right knee in, left leg out, last one. Give those thighs a squeeze, and then feet down to the ground. Lift the hips and excavate any props that you may have been using. Those can go away and slide yourself into a full body stretch, arms out, legs out. Rebend the knees, slide your hips to the left. And as you like, drop thighs to the right into a supine twist. You could cross one ankle or one calf over the other if you so choose. Open the arms out to a T and rest here in this twist for 2, maybe 3 breaths. On the next inhale, come back to the center, raise the legs, uncross, and move your seat to the right. So your thighs can drop to the left. Same thing, you might cross a thigh to a thigh, an ankle to a knee, or you might just stack the legs, one on top of the other. For 3 breaths. Inhale, friends, knees back to the center. Some of us might go toward Supta Baddha Konasana, soles together, knees apart. If you're really loving the hip-centric work, you want to stay in that line of thinking for rest. Start here and realize you can go to straight legs anytime you like. If you're anything like me, your hips have had enough. And straight legs straight away would be better. If there are any other fun movements that call to you, by all means, go there. Do what you need to do to work your back flesh into the ground. Rest the arms down. And slip into Shavasana. For some well-deserved rest. Friends, I'll share with you my current favorite, Mary Oliver, one of my favorites. As an energetic offering, food for thought, a meditation for the rest of your day. It's called 100 White-Sided Dolphins on a Summer Day. Fat, black, slick, galloping in the pitch of the waves, in the pearly fields of the sea. They leap toward us, they rise sparkling and vanish, and rise sparkling. They breathe little clouds of mist, they lift perpetual smiles, they slap their tails on the waves, grandmothers and grandfathers enjoying the old jokes. They circle around us, they swim with us. 100 white-sided dolphins on a summer day, each one, as God himself, could not appear more acceptable. 100 times in a body blue and black, threading through the sea foam, and lifting himself up from the opened tents of the waves on his fishtail to look with the moon of his eye into my heart, and find there pure, sudden, steep, sharp, painful gratitude that falls, I don't know, either unbearable tons or the pale, bearable hand of salvation on my neck, lifting me from the boat's plain plank seat into the world's unspeakable kindness. It is my 63rd summer on earth, and for a moment, I have almost vanished into the body of a dolphin, into the moon eye of God, into the white fan that lies at the bottom of the sea with everything that ever was or ever will be, supple, wild, rising on flank or fishtail, singing or whistling or breathing damply through blowhole at top of head. Then, in our little boat, the dolphin suddenly gone. We sailed on through the brisk, cheerful day. Friends, I invite you to enjoy as much rest as you like in your Shavasana. Please stay and linger as your schedule allows. And when you're ready to roll out into the remainder of your day, do so quietly and carefully. And with, if you're willing, a little bit of sway. Until the next time, my friends, thank you for your energy and your effort. Namaste.